Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Righto. Oh, what's that? That boat? Let's have a look over here. I've got a funny feeling I'm just going to have to backtrack to go down there anyway, or just throw myself off a cliff. Is that a boat? Is it? Yes, it's a boat. There you go, that's all the excitement of the game done right there. No, I'm being really cruel. I'm actually quite enjoying this. Just, you know, like I said, it would be a little bit better if I could have maybe a little bit more control over, say, the speed that I'm walking. So maybe I'd have to go down there, round and up. Sure, wonder like what is that? Lighthouse? Yeah, obviously lighthouse. But I mean,
I've begun to wonder if Donnelly's voyage here was as prosaic as it was presented. How disappointed not to have found the bones of the holy man. No wonder he hated the inhabitants so. To him they must have seemed like barnacles mindlessly clinging to a mercy seat. Why cling so hard to the rock? Because it is the only thing that stops us from sliding into the ocean, into oblivion.
I must be a bit drunk. Straight line, good sir.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived? I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Hello, should I be on the other side of that fence? Oh! Oh! Let me jump! Okay. Righto, so Esther's dead, that's what we've gathered to this point. And... yeah. Exactly.
What charnel house lies at the foot of this abyss? How many dead shepherds could fill this hole?
I'm not like... Can I fall down there? I'll poop.
Come back.
Ah! So you can fall down there, so technically you can die. Okay. Interesting. Woo! Fun! Just fell down a hole. Hello? What's that? No. Nothing of interest. Oh, look, it's a pretty little house. Have I been this way yet? Am I lost? I'm probably lost. Let's go this way.
I've begun to climb, away from the sea and towards the center. It is a straight line to the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence. The bothy squats against the mount to avoid the gaze of the aerial. I too will creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern shore. The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either. Three cormorants seen at dusk. They did not land. This house built of stone, built by a long-dead shepherd. Contents: my camp bed, a stove, a table, chairs, my clothes, my books. The caves that score out the belly of this island, leaving it famished. My limbs and belly famished. This skin, these organs, this failing eyesight. When the battery runs out in my torch, I will descend into the caves and follow only the phosphorescence home.
Barbed wire fence.
What to make of Donnelly, the laudanum and the syphilis? It is clearly not how he began, but I've been unable to discover if the former was a result of his visiting the island or the force that drove him here. For the syphilis, a drunk driver smashing his insides into a pulp as he stumbled these paths, I can only offer my empathy. We're all victims of our age. My disease is the internal combustion engine and the cheap fermentation of yeast. They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. His fingernails were raw and bitten to the quick. They found the phosphorescent moss that grows in the caves deep under the nails. Whatever he'd been doing under the island when his strength began to fail is lost. He'd struggled halfway up the cliff again, perhaps in a delirium, perhaps trying to reach the Bothy's fire before curling into a stone and expiring.
Ow. That guy sucked. Ugh. Yeah, jagged wood. Think you get me again, do you? I can't step over or around this thing.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Very spooky. Can I fall down this hole? I'm going to say yes. Let's try. Oh no. Oh, it looks like that was where I was supposed to go. Come back.